What's up? I'm Troubleshoot. It's Thursday, the 20th of February 2025, week 3. Let's talk about this week's Rust skins. This week's Rust store, of course, is keeping in the theme of medieval, with a couple of these skins being medieval themed. We've got a knight backpack, which goes super well with the shield for $2, a medieval hammer for $2 once more, and a red monarch cape and red monarch crown for $2 and $1.50. Also, in a previous week, we received a Black Ops AK, and this week we're getting a Black Ops SAR for just $3, as well as another weapon skin, the Poptsar LR. This is definitely one of the better looking anime skins, and I'll show you in game in just a moment for $2.50. Then the protective garage door for $3.50 definitely looks very different in this preview than it does in game. And continuing with the ever-growing Ultramarine set, we've got the Ultramarine hoodie and pants here for both $2 each. Finally, the last item here, and definitely not the least, it's the large small box for $2. This is super cute and looks even better in game. Starting off at the very top with the Ultramarine hoodie and Ultramarine pants. These don't glow in the dark, but they do look real good on your character, even though they're not the most stealthy skins in most cases. If your base is Ultramarine themed, well, you'll blend in pretty nicely. And of course, if you've invested in some of the ever-growing Ultramarine set, then these are definitely going to be a real good addition. You've seen the front, here's the back, and let's talk about the rest of the armor set. Even though it's not the easiest to spot here, I'm wearing the Ultramarine chestplate and the Ultramarine face mask over here. They blend in super well, of course. These were released in a previous store, as well as the Ultramarine road sign kit, including the road sign chestplate, kilt, and coffee can helmet. These blend in once again super well. You can barely tell that I'm wearing these. These are more camouflage to themselves than, well, anything else. Unless, of course, that anything else includes the Ultramarine small box, large box, sleeping bag, furnace, sheet metal door, and garage door, which is the entire set. These things you'll definitely blend into really well if your base is themed around these. Of course, unlike the rest of these building materials, and very much alike the other armor pieces in the set, none of the armor glows in the dark. However, all of the building materials do glow in the dark. You can just barely see a silhouette of me over here, even though during the day I'm more than visible in my base, and of course out and about. While these aren't the most stealthy, they aren't going to expose you at nighttime, and based off of price history, the other building materials, so the garage door, sleeping bag, etc., have gone up in price since they were released on the Rust store, now in the Steam market, by about 30 to 100%, so that's pretty good. However, armor, such as the face mask, chestplate, and road sign kilt, have seen price increases of just about 10%, and the road sign chest and helmet losing about 20 to 30% of their value since being listed. This hoodie and pants, of course, are just as much of a risk to buy if you plan on selling them in the future, so hey, take this information as you will, not financial advice. Taking a step back from the Ultramarine overload, we've now got the red monarch cape and red monarch crown. These two are a baseball cap skin and a jacket skin. Of course, the crown is super shiny with these gems across it. Even though it's curved slightly weirdly, as it's a cap skin after all, it still is just enough to be royalty on different RP servers. The jacket, or cape rather, attaches to your armor or whatever you're wearing at the front, with this nice red texture to it and fur coat hood, as well as outline across all the way through to the back here with this red velvety type texture. Ultimately, if you want to be royalty in RP servers, this is a fantastic choice, but of course you're not going to gain anything too much in terms of armor from a baseball cap and just a jacket besides a bit of maybe warmth. To complete your medieval fit, we've got this backpack, the knight backpack, which is a super good looking leather texture all the way across the side, with the inside and outside of the leather being used really well, a wooden back pocket / container attached to the backpack, and a very similar shield texture all the way at the bottom section here. On the side, you'll notice between these leather straps and connections, we've got a map with a cross drawn on it over here and a compass hanging off the back of our backpack just so you don't get lost. This is a super detailed skin and of course fits super well with the rest of your medieval setup. On the other side, we've got a blue feather, and over the top, this bluey texture. I'm not too sure what this is supposed to be, but there's a crown on it, so maybe it's just like a rag / banner draped over it. Around the front, here are the straps, and of course they look just as fitting as the rest of the backpack. Overall, it's a really nicely put together skin that looks really good when it comes to medieval armor. The final piece of your medieval kit would probably be this medieval hammer here. It's definitely super well used with tons of hammer marks and imprints left along the back and front, and inspecting it, it's a bit of a darker wood with some brassy type textures, nails, and things like that stuck into it. Definitely a piece of its time, but of course it's yet another hammer skin, taking us up to 44 in total. Finally, moving away from wearables, we've got this LR300 skin this week, the Poptsar LR, featuring this anime character on it, as well as a bunch of lines, squiggles, stars, and things like that. It's a super colorful skin, to be sure, from the backside, and of course, the play side just as much. This skin is just as cute on the front and the backside. If it's something you're looking for and it tickles your fancy, it's definitely a unique skin. Pretty cool. This is what the scope looks like, and of course, without depth of field, it's definitely super visible. You'll know where the center of your screen is for sure, and the tip of the iron sights is a purple type color, but if you haven't noticed it until now, just look at what's staring at you. You've got this little anime chibi type character looking straight back at you, super happy you're about to get rid of freshborns running around from your roof. But hey, everyone has their own unique playstyle and favorite weapon. You can't exactly craft this, but you can definitely find it and skin it. What you can craft, however, would be the Black Ops SAR. This adds to the existing Black Ops AK we received just 2 weeks ago, and it's just as shiny. The front guard is this matte black plastic texture, and the main body of the gun is this weird carbon fibery type pattern, with the rest of it being super chrome and shiny, and all the way at the very front, a noticeable skull on the front iron sight that you're only really going to see while inspecting or seeing other players wielding this thing. A nice little secret to add onto it. From the first person, this is what it looks like. It's missing most of the back. It's just got a sharp pole sticking out of it, so you definitely wouldn't want this thing to kick back into your shoulder, but besides that, it's super shiny, and if this is something you're looking for living in the future, well, hey, this is just for you. Zooming into the scope, this is what it looks like. We've got a super bright red iron sight at the front, just so you know exactly where you're aiming, and it's relatively visible. Overall, a pretty cool but definitely very shiny skin, and if you're someone who likes this, then you're definitely someone who'll like this week's garage door, the Protector garage door. This thing is super chrome, and you'll feel straight out of that SpongeBob episode where they're in the future and everything's made of chrome. This super shiny garage door does also have a glow effect, but speaking about its appearance, it's made all out of this super shiny chrome with some barbed wire and things like that holding it together with this little peek through visible so you can check out what's going on before you're heading outside. These two lights at the very top of this do actually mean something more than just being painted on. This skin glows in the dark. If we flick over to nighttime, you'll see just how much this thing glows. It's super well put together when it comes to how everything is lit. All of these little bolts are reflecting light in just the right way, or mostly the right way. It looks really good for a skin that doesn't actually cast light onto the surroundings. It's just put together really well in this 3D type texture. Ultimately, if you're someone who loves shiny things and you bought the SAR, this would definitely tickle your fancy. And with that, we've come to the final, last but not least item, the small large box. This thing is absolutely adorable. If we place a regular schmegular large box next to it, you can see just how similar these things are. This large box, although a little bit more 3D, has a super accurate and really well put together smaller Honey I Shrunk the Kids clone of it, now in the small large box, complete with rope on the side, albeit not as 3D as the large box. The rest of it is put together pretty much exactly the same as the original official large box, so if you're looking for a default looking base, or just like this thing's cuter younger brother, well hey, here you go. A small large box. Really cute. I'll definitely be purchasing this just because it's, well, default but smaller. And that's it. We've completed this week's rundown of all of the brand new skins. Hopefully you found this video interesting, if not useful. Thank you for watching. My name's been Troubleshoot, and I'll see you all again next week, if not sooner. Ciao.